So for today, you guys are going to see me do my everyday matte eye. So I decided to kind of switch it up a bit and show you guys how I would actually wear color if I'm wearing color outside. The reason being is that I tell you guys a lot that I don't wear color eyeshadow outside. Like I don't know, it's just a thing with me. So if I do wear, I always wear it in like pops of color. So I created this beautiful eye. It's actually my everyday eye with like a cute little colorful twist. So let's get started. So we're starting off with patting out our base, just putting it where we want it. The reason why I like matte eyes is because it mimics my contour, my highlight, and my bronzer. So I personally prefer matte eyes when I'm out now. It just photographs so freaking nice. That's just me though. Like I'm just a matte girl, and I just feel like with a matte face and a matte eye, you're asking for like fly ass pics, like fly. So we're just patting this out. You just want to make sure it's even. So what I like to do is I like to just go over everything with my finger, my ring finger, and that's about it. So to start our look off, we're going to go in with our bronzer. I prefer to start off with my bronzer just because it's so cohesive with what we have going on the outskirts of the face. So that's just me. So as you guys can see, like up here is like light, but it's like muted, if that makes sense. That's because that's the shade I want to go in with. I don't want to focus on tones. I don't want to use a light brown that could possibly be like red undertone or anything like that. I just want a shade that's going to make everything look really good. So I always opt out for my bronzer. So I'm using Fenty Caramel Cutie, and I'm going straight into the crease. Just bronzing up the crease. So this is the bronzer. It looks so good. And I also like to bring it in towards the nose, because this is what's going to start slimming down the nose. It's going to start breaking down that bone. So the reason why I choose to use bronzers, because if I was going to use a brown eyeshadow, I have to be very specific that it doesn't, or very careful that it doesn't have like a red undertone or it doesn't have a mauve undertone. Just not my thing right now. I just want an effortless eye, you know? So I'll always go in with my bronzer anytime I'm doing effortless eyes. Alright, so next I'm going into my Emoji Palette by Opv Beauty. I'm going in with this light brown shade, Mawa. Now, this is the reason why I didn't use this shade as my transition. It's kind of orange, but even though it's like slightly orange, it's going to go on the eye like light brown. So hopefully you guys could see why I chose to use my bronzer. I'm going to just put both of them side by side. You see, like this is literally just like a muted brown, and this is just like an orange brown. So I don't mind that to go into the crease with. You see how now it's starting to give it like a nice orange sheen? That's what I mean. Okay, now that we have that beautiful orange sheen built up, I'm going to go back into the Emoji palette and use Yiwa. I'm going to use this beautiful dark brown on the outer V. This is such a like dark brown that I go in lightly with it, because it starts to darken up the eye real quick. I'm using very little product, and I'm just packing it on the outer V and into the crease. I'm not going far into the crease. I'm literally leaving it right on the outskirts. This is what mimics your contour. So basically you're contouring your eye. Okay, so using a flat fluffy brush, I'm just going to put a little bit of eyeshadow base on it, and I'm just going to clean up this area up front. If you want to cut your crease, go ahead. So I have the OPV translucent powder on here, and I'm just going to pack that in this area just to keep the lid bright. Or just a white eyeshadow. I prefer translucent, but this is the OPV translucent powder I'm using for this step right here. Lazy girl cut crease. You learned it here. Keep your brush in precise areas and then lightly sweep it over. Okay, so now it's time for the pop of color. If you want the look that was in the other tutorial when I showed you guys my baking technique, just pop white in the inner corner and a liner, and that's it. But for today, I felt let's do a pop of color. So I'm going to be using the OPV Mint Pigment. I am obsessed with this. This is the most beautiful mint shade I own. So the way I use pigments is I'm not afraid to layer them with things. So I'm going to use the Pinky Rose. What is this? This is just their teal base. I'm going to pop that into the inner corner. Just like so. Okay, so I'm just going to get a little bit of the base onto this little brush, and then I'm going to start maneuvering the base like into the eyeshadow look. Just so my pigment has something to stick to. You need a sticky base for the pigment to adhere to, so that's what I'm using this for. So I have the mint pigment on my brush, and I'm just going to press it in and stick it to the base. Okay, so while my lash glue is drying, I figured I'd jump on here and let you guys know different ways you could use pigments. So the way I use it is I use a colored base to give me like a tacky feel, so that so the pigment could adhere to it, and all it does is literally just sticks to the base, and it just makes it more vibrant. So you can use a white base, but I definitely prefer using colored bases with colored pigments, just because it's going to ensure that it's bright, it's there. Also, I like to mix this with like a white eyeshadow base to thicken it, to do wing liners and any type of like accent to an eye. Or one of my very favorite ways you could do it is using the OPV mixing medium. The OPV mixing drops with the pigment, it turns it into a liquid that could be used as a wing liner, as accent to an eye. I like to carve out my cut crease with it, or you can easily just use this as a base for your cut crease. When you mix these two together, it could make a liquid that you could use to cut your crease and then pop on a matching glitter on top. Overall, those are different ways you can use it. I can also show you guys how I use it using the mixing medium. I love it. It is so freaking good. Look how low I am with my mixing medium. I use my shit. Alright guys, so this is the final look. Hopefully you guys love it. Very simple, very cute, but statement eyes, and they look so freaking pretty on pictures. So try it out, let me know what you guys think. Do not forget to use my code Drea on all your OPV purchases. I will try to insert a clip of all of the new pigments. So yeah, until our next video. Also, don't forget to leave some sort of suggestion for our next video. So until then, I'll see you guys later. So I wanted to show you guys the 3 different ways I use the pigment. So this right here is with the OPV mixing drops. This is what I would use to create a wing liner, add lines into the crease, graphic liner, etc. This is wet. That's why it's a darker blue. But as you guys can see, when it dries into its natural light blue. This is called ice blue. Then this one right here is the ice blue pigment on top of a blue base. This right here, as you guys can see, is more pigmented. It actually makes the blue more vibrant. And then this is the blue pigment on top of my actual eyeshadow base. It still is very vibrant and very pigmented. As you guys can see, if you're doing like a cut crease and you want to like pack it on,